Hi YouTube, this is Rose, and I'm going to read this. I'll leave the link of this article because it's incredibly interesting. Now, I was looking into the finders, and I found this link, and I will make another video on that article that I found. The CIA traffics in drugs, child rituals, sex abuse, and global murder. They count on the fact that the more bizarre and perverted they act, the safer they are, because the average Joe cannot even fathom the depths of the evil that this agency perpetrates. One by one, the dots get connected. The same names keep popping up, and they are linked with the same activities over and over again until the pattern becomes so clear and undeniable. The circumstantial evidence becomes so overwhelming, and the pictures emerge that is so frightening that it's so hard to believe that it's true. The picture that has emerged is indeed the major institutions of the United States of America, the CIA, the FBI, and the many of our governmental and media institutions are involved in child sexual slavery and ritual abuse. The same names keep surfacing in relation to the same subjects over and over again. The CIA, child sexual abuse; the Catholic Church, George Bush Sr., the secret societies of Skull and Bones, the Freemasons, the Knights of Malta, and others, and on and on and on. If you think this sounds like some crazy, loony conspiracy theory, congratulations, that's exactly how they've programmed you to think. You've been brainwashed. Your mind has been successfully obliterated. For the evidence presented on the voxfox.com website, it is so overwhelming and so indisputable that to ignore it any longer or to write it off as too outrageous to be true is to be a low, immoral, retarded coward. Whoa. If you decide to continue, you need courage to do this. Only God can give you the courage to go through this. If you decide to continue reading, prepare yourself to connect all the dots of this evil incarnate. Read on. Your life and the safety of your family depends on it. On February 7th of 1987, the Washington Post ran an interesting story that did not at first seem to have any particular national significance. The article concerned a case, possibly kidnapping and child abuse, and material discovered in the Washington area that they say points to a 1960s-style commune called the Finders, described in a court document as a cult that conducted brainwashing and used children in rituals. D.C. police, who searched the Northeast Washington warehouse linked to the group, removed large plastic bags filled with color slides, photographs, photographic contact sheets, showed some naked children involved in what appeared to be cult rituals, bloodletting ceremonies of animals, and one photograph of a child in chains. Custom officials said their links to the D.C. area led authorities into a far-reaching investigation that includes the Finders, a group of about 40 people that court documents allege is led by a man named Marion Petty, and their various homes, including the duplex apartment in Glover Park, the Northeast Washington warehouse, and a 90-acre farm in a ritual Madison County, Virginia. Why am I not surprised? It was the U.S. News and World Report that would ultimately provide the follow-up and the Finders story, noting that there is a certain customer service memorandum that was written at the time of the original investigation by a Raymond J. Martinez, special agent, United States Customs Service, describing 2 adult white males, 6 minor children, ages 7 years to 2 years. The adult males were Michael Julian and Douglas Ammerman, both of Washington, D.C., who had been arrested the previous day on charges of child abuse. The children were covered in insect bites, were very dirty. Most of the children were not wearing underpants, and all of the children had not been bathed in days. The men were somewhat evasive. Under questioning, stated that they were the children's teachers and were en route to Mexico to establish a school for brilliant children. The children were unaware of functions of telephones, televisions, toilets, and stated that they were not allowed to live indoors and were only given food as a reward. A Detective Bradley had initiated an investigation on the two addresses provided by the Tallahassee Police Department during December of 1986. An informant had given him information regarding the cult known as the Finders, operating various businesses out of a warehouse located in 1307 4th Street, New England, I think, and were supposed to be housing children at 3918/93920 West Street, North Washington. I'm sorry, I don't know what NW stands for. The information was specific in describing blood rituals and sexual orgies involving children, and an as yet unsolved murder in which the Finders might be involved. Cursory examination of documents revealed detailed instructions for obtaining children for unspecified purposes. The instructions include the impregnation of female members of the community, purchasing children, trading, and kidnapping. There were telex messages using MCI account numbers between a computer terminal believed to be in the same room and the others located across the country and in foreign locations. There were pictures of new children and adult finders, as well as evidence of high-tech money transfers. There was a file called Pentagon Break-In and references to activities in Moscow, Hong Kong, China, Malaysia, North Vietnam, North Korea, Africa, London, Germany, Europe, and the Bahamas. There was also a file labeled Palestine. One such telex ordered the purchase of 2 children in Hong Kong to be arranged through a contact in the China embassy there. Other documents identified interests in the high-tech transfer to the United Kingdom, numerous properties under the control of the Finders, and keen interest in terrorism, explosives, and the evasion of law enforcement. And we saw that in that other article, my other video I posted, where they not only they have children, they have drugs, but they have explosives. There was a set of instructions that appeared to broadcast via a computer, an advisory to participants to keep the children moving through different jurisdictions, and instructions on how to avoid police detection. A photo album contained a series of photos of adults and children dressed in white sheets participating in blood rituals. The ritual centered around the execution of at least 2 goats. The photos portrayed the execution, disembowelment, skinning, and dismemberment of the goats at the hands of children. This included the removal of the testes of the male goat, the discovery of the female goat's womb and the baby's goat inside the womb, and the presentation of the goat's head to one of the children. There was a large amount of data collected in various child organizations. See? Easy to find. Continuing. The warehouse contained a large library, 2 kitchens, a sauna, a hot tub, and a video room. The video room seemed to be set up as an indoctrination center. The organization had the ability to produce its own videos. They appeared to be training areas for children and what appeared to be an altar set up in residential areas of the warehouse. Many jars of urine and feces were located in this area. Group leader Marion Petey spoke in an interview in Steam Shovel Press in 1998, noting that the World War II he kept house maintainedly to intelligent people in Washington and OSS people passing through. U.S. official customs investigation reports, which have been completely authenticated by the investigating officers who wrote them and by a well-respected investigator who personally knows the customs officials, are irrefutable evidence that The case of obvious child neglect and abuse involving children, pedophiles, sexual abuse, child pornography, satanic cult, ritual abuse, wherein the perpetrators were caught directly in the act by the law enforcement, arrested on the basis of irrefutable evidence at the scene, and faced serious charges which typically bring sentences of decades in prison. Search warrants were obtained for the Finders Cult office in Washington, D.C., and a complete search was enacted by the law enforcement, which provide irrefutable pictures, movies, documents such as abuse, neglect, evidence, and access to the confidential arrest reports on the Finders Cult from arrest in Tallahassee, which occurred only a day earlier, suggesting very high-level connections to U.S. intelligence in and of itself. The investigation of the Finders Cult by the FBI, U.S. Customs, and law enforcement was ordered stopped by the U.S. Justice Department on the grounds of national security, and the matter of the Finders Cult was turned over to the Central Intelligence Agency as an internal security matter. Since the Finders and has been a domestic and international covert operation of the Central Intelligence Agency, any and all investigations of the Finders was immediately stopped. All evidence was suppressed, denied. The abused children were released back to the adult perpetrators who had been arrested in the act, and the CIA resumed its ongoing covert operation of the Finders Cult, which is used to procure and produce. I'm going to stop there. I'll leave the link. I just wanted to show you guys that even if they don't get if they do get busted, they get released or very short sentences. We do have no idea what happens to these children. I mean, to do a follow-up, we'd have to do it one case at a time. We got to leave it in God's hands, but we are to expose this evil, and we are to pray for these children. Amen. Thank you for your time. God bless. Bye.